And I'm gonna hit the old go live button. And we are going live. Here we are live. Good morning, everyone. Hooty hoo! We are here in Hawaii for our final Hawaiian episode of the Khan Family Show. And today we have the great gift of having Dan Edland in the house. And you guys know we always love having Dan in because he's always got lots of great value to add to the show, to give us great information. And, Dan, I would like to ask you something about, it's really the big hoo-ha that's going on these days is this virus. And, you mentioned to me in a conversation that you were really busy because of this virus. And so I'd really love it if you could kind of give us an idea of what's going on, how's it affecting your business? How can other people take advantage of this this scare thing that's going on, this government-created virus that, I think our brother Sam Tran has pretty well exposed the fact that it's something that's been created. It's not something that just happened out of the blue from nature. And so I'm really curious what's been going on for you, what you have to say about it, what you think as far as how people might be able to turn this around and create an advantage out of it for their business.
Well, look at somebody wants to join in. It's been a little bit, Luther, stop. It's been a little bit strange out here because, this is obviously kind of the center of America for where this is happening. And, so out here, it's a little bit crazy. I mean, you go to the Costco, I don't, but what I'm seeing is, people at the Costco lining up an hour and a half before they even open and, buying out. I'm not sure why they're buying up all the toilet paper. I don't understand, what that has to do with anything, but, we're seeing the markup. We're very conscious of bringing the value of the machine to people all the time. So, we're seeing what people are charging for bottled water. We're going around and looking at those kind of things. Everything is the big thing about hand sanitizer. So Liz has been doing a bunch of research on actually, she's found tons of stuff from doctors where actual doctors are saying, don't use hand sanitizer, don't use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And if you see the people that really are, their hands are drying out just an incredibly fast rate, saying she's found other stuff that says, unless that hand sanitizer is wet, it's not effective at all. So it's effective for a very, very brief second, but those chemicals go into your skin and things like that. And so, but obviously that got us looking around. So we were going on to Amazon and we were finding little $3 bottles of Perel hand washing things for $50, $55, $45. And it's just, it's a real shame because I don't usually, I don't hold back anyway, but it's really sad to see people's ignorance. They're exploited every single day of their life for bottled water. And they're even more so in a situation like this. But then when it comes to something like that, and, me and Liz were talking about this morning and we were just like, it's kind of sad to show you the state of the American average person where, it really takes, a pandemic for people to be conscious about, like not covering their mouths when they sneeze or, their nose or being conscious of, washing your hands or just, being even a little bit conscious of what they put in their body. It's like, I just find it ironic that, the only three things, and we're pounded into the ground out here more than anybody. They're only saying three things, JJ: boost your immune system, stay as hydrated as possible, and keep your hands clean. And we have the remedy for all of them. I cannot be exploited. I'm the manufacturer. I can make as much as I want. Nobody can tell me that, bottled water is going to cost me more at Costco this week, or that the $3 bottle of sanitizer is going to be $50 because, I'm a day late to the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I just wish that everybody knew what we had, because people, they're just so asleep. And we have the answer, we have the answer for it all, and so really what we've been educating people about too is other than it shouldn't take this for you to pay attention to this. But even if you change this, look at these other things. Look at the oil-based herbicides and pesticides on your food. Look at this, look at that. I mean, I just don't understand why it takes this to become somewhat conscious of what you're doing. But, everybody's really going to feel the effects of it. I mean, you have all kinds of things being canceled and all kinds of things going on. And then, you have all kinds of people that are looking into the technology, but then in the last 96 hours, they're going, I've lost money in the stock market, or I've lost this, or I've lost that. So now I need to be careful with my money, right? I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty mind-boggling, and I know that I started to look at all this stuff in a little bit different way because of meeting Sam Tran.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the epitome of what we're talking about. He thought this was the biggest scam in the world, biggest bunch of hoo-ha and whatever, and it took tragedy for him to turn it around. And I think it's an amazing tragedy and situation, and that it turned things around for him. Because he literally says, before I died, I didn't want anything to do with this. And then after I died and came back, I had to get involved. Maybe there's some divine intervention going on there. I don't know. But,
right.
It's sometimes that's unfortunate that it does take pandemic or tragedy or whatever for people to actually wake up and take a look at what they've got right in front of them that they could have had all along, that would have prevented the help to prevent the tragedy or the pandemic, and so it's definitely mind-boggling for those of us who understand what we have.
Okay. No, and yeah, I mean, it really is hard to believe. Sorry, I was trying to catch Liz before she was going out the door. She was just reading something about a new study that she had found on how the coronavirus will essentially sleek away from somebody who has a higher pH, and she was reading it from an actual study. And sorry, she just went out the door with the dog, so I won't speak on it anymore because she was the one reading it. But I think what people are going to find out is that it pays to have a healthy immune system. It pays to be a little bit healthier. I think that there's a reason why this is affecting older people. And, I don't know too many old people that really, they're kind of done. You know what I mean? I mean, the biggest thing I get from people over the age of 65 is, oh my God, I haven't drank water in years. And I'm like, well, no wonder you look the way that you do. No disrespect, but I know a lot of, 70, 75-year-olds that stay active and stay hydrated and take care of their body. And there's a big difference between this 75-year-old and this 75-year-old. I meet people now that, they're 53, 54 years old, and hell, they look 70.
Right. Yeah, I know quite a few people like that, and I definitely hope to help them turn things around. And I just noticed we got our brother Wetzel in the house. Wetz, what's going on, brother?
And look at Jen down there.
Not much. Yeah, listen, I was going to say, look, you recognized big and ugly before you saw small and beautiful. So I just appreciate your loyalty and acknowledging the big fella. Top of the morning to you, Edland. Well, I guess maybe middle of the morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you too, Jen. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you? I just saw the text from Dan, and I let him know bored is not in my vocabulary, but I thought I would jump on.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Dan, it's so interesting what's going on with all of this. And I was just reading today how in the newspaper this morning how the NBA commissioners are considering canceling games because of this.
It's all a flat out panic, fear mongering campaign, man. I mean, in all honesty, I would think even possibly someone from Enagic might have started this coronavirus, because to speak for the article, it was in PubMed.gov, Dan, and it talked about being alkaline, and again, you think about the healthiest state we are, in our existence is primarily when we're born. I mean, we're born 93% water. We got a perfect pH that's slightly alkaline, anywhere from 7.2 to 7.4. And that's the simplicity of it. You know, Sam talks about simplicity in a world of absolute overcomplication. And if we can just dial into that simplicity and alkalize our bodies, bring our immune system back to the level it was designed to be by giving it the hydrogen we've also unknowingly lost throughout our lives, we can basically become impervious to pretty much anything. And then as a back pocket item, you can pull out the 2.5 and spray doorknobs. I just think I want to walk around. There's a junior high last girls basketball game my son wants to go to today. I'm going to come in just slinging 2.5 like Willy Wonka does chocolate bars, you know?
Right. You know, and Jen's up here too. I mean, she's seen it. I mean, she's seen the way that, I mean, you know, this is, you know, you look at the big picture and yeah, and people are going out and buying all this stuff and they're being exploited and extorted for bottled water and hand sanitizers and things like that. But if you really start to look at, you know, on a bigger picture, I mean, I was just reading like the South by Southwest festivals canceled down in Austin. You know, takes $500 million out of the economy over a 10-day period. And, you know, if you see what happened in the stock market in the last 4, 5, 6 days, I mean, you know, sporting events now they're talking about being canceled. Countries, you know, they're saying to get into Jerusalem now they're doing a mandatory, you know, 14-day quarantine, anybody who wants to visit the country. Well, that's going to eliminate everybody on the planet. I said to Liz last night, you love to travel more than any woman that I've ever met in my life. Name me one country on planet Earth that you would go and visit if the first 14 days you had to be quarantined. And she said, none. And I go, what if the vacation was free? Absolutely 100% free. Hotel, room, airfare, meals, everything. And she goes, I still don't think I can think of one place I'd go if I have to sit for 2 weeks. But the problem is, you know, that starts somewhere and then somebody else adopts the idea. And I mean, the global impact on the economy is becoming, you know, I'm not downplaying it, and I don't know enough about it to say anything about it, but it's just, I mean, this is the kind of thing that can get, you know, really, really bad really fast because, you know, the people are, you know, out here. I mean, dude, you got to understand, this is the epicenter for Amazon. This is the epicenter for Microsoft, and companies like that have the funds, but you know, we have 54,000. Think about that number. We have 54,000 Microsoft employees within 25 minutes of my house. And every single one of them is been told to work from home for the next 3 weeks. Now that's okay, because those people are still getting paid and they can still do their job. But the trickle down effect of people, you know, people aren't going to movies, you know, and people aren't going to be going to sporting events, you know, and it starts this ripple effect where all of a sudden, hey, you know, it's the ticket checker at the movie theater and we don't need you anymore, and we don't need this person and we don't need that person. And, you know, it's rough to see for, you know, for something we have no idea what it is.
Well,
You know,
can I interject on that a second? Here's what I find funny. I saw a list yesterday on Facebook, and it went from 2000, 2004, 8, 12, 16, and now.
Right.
Every spring or summer prior to the presidential election, in every year, all these viruses or diseases or pandemics were introduced. And I find that oddly curious, to say the least. You know what I mean? I don't think, you know, knee-jerk reactions are warranted in today's day and age, or nor should they ever be. But I don't know. I just think it's highly coincidental in the whole economy thing. And it's the machine puppet mastering the puppets, you know, that's
Right.
all it is. And
I agree.
We're just trying to get in where we fit in on a small speck of sand on a beach of this planet, and try and bring whatever we can in terms of hope and, you know, belief in what's good in the world. And that's why, just another reason why I just feel so blessed to have this mission that we're on. Because again, like we're talking, not only are we supposed to be alkalized, we also have a disinfectant that kills stuff that's a lot worse than coronavirus in my mind, if we're talking CRKP and MRSA and yada, yada, AIDS, right. So I just think that it's awesome that we're blessed enough to have this at our disposal when people are running around trying to grab up toilet paper. For whatever reason, I do not get it, but it's funny how the sheep are all just posting all this stuff, and I'm just taking pictures of my 2.5 spray bottle and posting them under every one of those posts.
I'm glad you brought up the thing about the whole thing with the politics, because I just found, the economy's humming along, everything's going along. We get close to where it starts talking about time, and all of a sudden this comes along and sucks $10 trillion out of the economy, and everybody goes through what they're going through. And I mean, and it's not restricted. I mean, it's everybody that has things in the market, everybody that has a 401k. I mean, I woke up yesterday morning and was completely oblivious, and I went into a Merrill Lynch account, and I mean, I'm pretty conscious of my money, and I'm like, where did I lose $6,000? I mean, I lost $6,000 in 3 hours, and then I turned on the TV and read that they had actually stopped the market, and I'm like, Jesus, I mean, so if you think about the wealth, so I mean, I was looking through a couple of different companies, and like, it doesn't even make sense to me, because everybody's staying home and shopping, everybody's going and getting their stuff, but everybody's staying home here. And everybody that I know is buying off of Amazon because it can just get dropped at your door. You don't have to see anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. But yet Amazon was down $102 a share yesterday. $102 a share.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, and there's no more bulletproof
it's the Fed,
company on the
man.
planet.
It's the Federal Reserve. Yeah, I'm reading your book, J. John, The Shadows of Power. And I'm through 3 chapters. And let's just say it's compelling beyond words. Compelling. I mean, and then it just adds up.
And sticking with the water, I mean, it would be nice.
So few people are trying to pay attention. Forgive me. Go ahead.
No. And I mean, and I completely get that. I mean, and we could go on for, the conspiracy theories we could do for 100 hours, but really what I'd like to get back to, so it'd be nice if everybody would take time, make a live video about the 2.5, show people what's out there. You don't know what's going to be the thing that triggers people. People have been watching Sean, or they've been watching Jen for a long time and seeing this thing and this, that, and the other, but if you went and grabbed any one of their, 100 people that are watching it, 98 of them would go, oh, I just thought he was messing around with some water filter. Oh, I thought she was just, yeah, she's doing water, whatever. It might take a video of the 2.5 where they're actually seeing something, hold up charts showing what it kills.
Right.
Educate people that we have more than a water filter, and then maybe that's the thing that gets them to ask a couple more questions. You really don't know what's going to compel people, but
yeah. And I had, if I may, I had an interesting meeting with someone yesterday. We had coffee, and I gave him a bottle and he appreciated it, and I started letting him know all the other things that the 2.5 all the other benefits. And he said, I'm going to put my marketing hat on. And he's like, just focus on the 2.5 right now. That's what people care about, which I find is interesting. But, I'm going to put my marketing hat back on and say, well, this machine will provide nearly every consumer product between self-care and cleaning. Take out the drinking even, So that's powerful.
Well, Jen, you bring up an interesting point. So and you were there obviously, but so JJ and Sean, like on Saturday at the office, I did the water demo, and then I did the business plan, and then it was interesting because then Elizabeth got up with a huge box of stuff and just started putting it on the table, and she was systematically explained to the crowd how everything she had put on the table was something we used to use daily in our lives that we no longer have a need for. You need to let people know you're already spending the money. You're getting zero of the benefits.
And what you're spending the money on often has toxins.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And trying to explain that to we all know that people are slow out here. We all know they got blinders on. We all know they're living on fluoride. You know, we get that they're slow. So that's another rabbit hole of, hey, and what you're spending the money on is no good for you, but you know, they're completely blinded by the marketing. But sometimes it's just pointing out you're already spending the money. You already spent it. Why not have, you know, I've already got the money. I've already spent the money. I've already got the money back 100 times over, and I'm going to enjoy the profits for the next 20 years. That doesn't have to be the case for you, but you can buy one thing one time and never buy these other 34 things again. You know, sit down, help people do the math, make them realize what they're spending. You know, I bet you Sean doesn't spend any money on soap chips or, you know, laundry detergent since we introduced him to that a year ago. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to save, and it's all right there. It's one device that does all these things. You know, it's amazing, because if a doctor sat down for 4 minutes with every mother that walked into his office and goes, hey, I'm going to give you the 4-minute version, you could, I mean, the guy would probably sell in the 65 percentile, right?
For sure.
But because they didn't hear it, you know, from a Zintech ad or something, it's not real.
Well,
Pretty
considering, Dan, how people tend to take their doctor's word as like the word of God.
Oh yeah.
She would probably sell in like the 95 percentile, you know, because people like, oh, my doctor said I need it, I'm going to get it, period. That's all there is to it.
0%, $47 a month. My doctor showed me that it's less than a tank of gas. I'd be a moron. I'd be an irresponsible mother not to have it. And yes, I agree with you. You are. That's what I mean, I'll tell people flat out. You know,
that actually provides an interesting little segue to shift over to something else in this regard, and that's Dr. Harts Filter. He's Enagic's medical advisor. He can't sell Kangen water machines because he's on the direct payroll for Enagic to help them get the proper scientific stuff, the proper part of the equation that we need. And so he's not out there trying to sell machines for his own personal benefit. And I think it's interesting what he had to say. He had that video that got posted out that he did with John Swardstrom. And he was saying coronavirus doesn't have a chance against Kangen water. Doesn't even have a chance. And I didn't get a chance to watch the entire video, but what I heard was enough as far as I'm concerned. And from what he was saying, that literally there is no bug out there on the planet. There's no bug, there's no virus, there's no bacteria, there's nothing that can survive against this water. And
I'll have to go and listen to that video. I mean, I caught a few minutes the other day where I thought it was interesting when he was talking about the red blood cell count. Pretty interesting.
I tried to find it. Can you please, when you post this video, can you post that link in the comments for people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make sure to get that out here, because that pertains to this, and quite frankly, you know, with what we're doing here, we're trying to provide solutions for people, you know, and a lot of people might think we're trying to put out problems, but what we're trying to do is provide solutions. And you know, one thing I've learned over the years, if you're telling people about problems but not offering any solutions, you're not really doing anybody any good. And so we need to always be on the lookout for the solutions that we can find and how they incorporate into what we do. And I think that this whole thing with the doctor conversation, I mean, Dr. Harts Filter, he's as accomplished of a doctor as there is out there in the world today. And so people would do themselves good to listen to what he has to say. And so, yeah, before we head out of here today, I'm going to make sure that gets posted along with it so that everybody can share it far and wide. So
I thought that was pretty amazing about the 12% higher red blood cell count on Kangen water. I mean, that's just, you know, for athlete delivery.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable, right? I mean, you know.
12%? Is that what was in the video? Was that part of what I missed?
12% higher red blood cell count in water as opposed to any other water that they were tested with. Well water, tap water, distilled water, bottled water, any water.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, you know, considering what we know about it. You know, all we need to do is take our little trusty ORP meter and take a look-see, and we can find out all kinds of stuff. And, you know, that's what I love so much about the ORP meter, is that it doesn't have any bias.
Right.
It doesn't care. It hasn't read any newspaper articles or magazine articles or read any scientific studies. It doesn't care. It just measures voltage. That's all it does. And so, you know, as long as you got the thing working properly, you got it calibrated in the way you should, it just simply doesn't lie to you. And
the justice of the ORP meter is indeed blind.
yeah. And back to another doctor, Dr. Jerry Tennant. You know, he has that incredible video, Healing His Voltage. And if your body has the proper negative voltage, it's amazing what it can heal. And he's a perfect example. He was a perfect guinea pig as to getting his body proper voltage. Even though I got to give the caveat here, he didn't do it through Kangen water. From what I understand, he's not an advocate of Kangen water, which in my opinion, that makes it even more powerful, more important, because his big thing is algae. That's where he gets all of his electricity for his body, is by getting the algae out of the ocean or whatever. And, you know, he doesn't even realize that our negative voltage is like literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times more powerful.
Interesting. So the seaweed must be really high vibration.
Yeah. And,
okay.
And so, and as people, if anybody's noticed the videos I've been doing on meat, where I literally took meat and showed it to have a positive ORP and then soaked it in 11.5 water for a period of hours and then retested it again, and it went from a positive ORP to a very high negative ORP. And to boot, the stuff fell apart in your mouth. It was wonderful, yummy.
So delicious.
Oh. Well, and I'm on the other end of the spectrum there with 100% the vegan diet, but no judgment here.
Well, you know, the point is that through, you know, my thing that I always tell people is that Khan's water makes everything better.
Right. How are we balancing out any acidity, or, you know, no one's perfect, and we're all human and have our indulgences here and there, but right, how are you balancing out? What does the long run look for you, you know, 10, 20 years down the road? We're all aging. It's like, give yourself a chance to age gracefully.
Yeah. It's so funny. Somebody just messaged me this morning and said, I mean, and obviously they're very brand new to this, never seen anything, and said, I mean, I kind of been following what you're doing, but it really is completely irrelevant, isn't it? I mean, the body was built the way it's built, so it really doesn't matter what you put in it.
Oh dear.
It's gonna alkalize by itself. And I said, do you really truly believe? Did you examine the statement that you said it really doesn't matter what you put in it, right? Like you have immunity. If I bought you a Ferrari tomorrow, so you just go pound on the gas pedal and never let it up. You don't care how much it revs. You don't care what the damage you're doing. And it's just going to run forever the exact same way that if you take care of it, shift it when you're supposed to, put the right gas in it. I mean, you can have two cars that react very, very differently at 50,000 miles, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about the state of people that they're actually out there in this day and age, I mean, Liz says it all the time. In the information age, ignorance is a choice. You have a choice to educate yourself about your vessel, your temple, anytime you feel it. But the thing is that the fact that there's still people out there that believe that no matter what we do, we just have complete immunity because the body will fix it. Well, I mean, you know, pass, right? On to the next guy. And I'm not, I mean, I'll educate him, I'll send him stuff, but it's just like, it's just, you kind of look around in this day and age and say, how do people still have that thinking process that we can just, have a Rolls Royce and put any kind of gas we want in it and it's going to perform the same way? It's just simply not true.
Yeah. 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 Same thing with the oil. And, ultimately, if you don't take care of your oil in your vehicle, and ultimately for us, that's kind of interesting, is that our water is not only our oil, but it's also our gasoline.
For sure.
And it's our battery. If it's the right water, our water is providing that voltage that we need so desperately. And like I tell people all the time, and I didn't come up with this, by the way. I got this from Dr. Jerry Tennant, healing is voltage. And what it really comes down to is whether something is stealing voltage from your body or whether it's donating it. And I love asking people, which one do you think would be better, stealing or donating?
Right.
And gratefully, I haven't had one single person say that stealing would be better.
Well, and the thing is, and they don't really realize, too, that when we're not giving something back, because I don't think people equate in this day and age that sitting in traffic and being stressed out about being late to work, or if you're sitting at home stressing out about the fact that your work has told you not to come in because of this thing, and now you're worried about bills because you're not a Microsoft employee and you're somebody. I mean, oxidative stress. That is the same thing as me having the Ferrari and redlining it all day without letting up on the gas. They don't even realize how many ways they're being stolen from, right? So it's the relationship, it's the stress, it's the money, it's showing up at the airport thinking you're going on a beautiful trip to Hawaii and getting hit with $600 in fees that you don't know about. Oxidative stress comes out from all over the place, and it comes in 1,000 different angles. And if you're not doing anything to combat that, how in the world can you possibly think that you're balancing anything out?
Right. Hey, Dan, I'd like to, because I'm thinking that it's probably about time to get moving out of here. I know this is a little bit short of an episode, but we got a big day going on today, and we're heading back home tonight and all that. But I was wondering, when Liz did her little demonstration, because that brilliant little mind of hers, she's so incredible. Did you guys get a videotape of that where she was, doing the?
I got a couple pictures, but no video.
Because I think it would be really helpful to have that kind of information to show people what they're spending money on. Because I've been telling people for 3 years now, it didn't take me that long to figure it out, that I say Kong doesn't cost. She pays, baby. She pays. And as we know, Kong is a she, not a he.
It's a great point on both fronts.
It doesn't sound like a problem. It sounds like you just gave yourself a solution. So it sounds like you get a hold of Liz and you just got yourself another whole episode, a little bit different. So just, she can reduplicate that. I think her thing at the office was, 25, 35 minutes. And that was with the ladies asking questions. And I mean, it would probably make a great episode. What do you think, Jen?
Absolutely. And I'd love to help if Stacy's, not available.
Yeah.
Or all three of us. Yeah.
Great information and all kinds of stuff, JJ, that even I don't think about, that uses around the house and different ways. And it wasn't strictly related to Kong. I mean, she had some things that she showed, to like, eliminate the Ziploc plastic bags, but little things.
Zero waste lifestyle. Yeah.
Zero waste lifestyle, greening the house. And it was just very, very informative stuff. I had 3 or 4 women that day text me after the thing and said, your presentation was great. Thank you. She said, but they said, but what Liz did afterwards was something I've never, ever, ever seen in the circles of Enagic. And I really can't stop thinking about it. So it was quality stuff.
Well, everything that Liz does is quality stuff. And that's a great idea. Would you let her know that I would love to have her do that demo again? Because you guys, this is important. People need to understand this. They need to understand what they have. They're already paying for this. They're already paying for Kong. They're just not getting the benefits of it. And it's
Not
great.
getting benefits.
It's ignorant.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to try and, you know, what we can do, what we have the power to do, you guys, is we have the power to cure the ignorance. And, you know, we can't do anything about stupidity, but we can cure ignorance.
Very true.
You know,
Let me just tell you what, you guys, there's a lot of work to be done, though.
Yeah.
Very true. And we have the compassion and patience, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
if you want to know what, think about this, though. 3, 5, 7 years from now, when the floodgates open and it's just the people trying to keep up with the Joneses, man, we're just going to be order takers to the point of, you know, 10, 15, 20, 25 directs a month. And, you know, we'll just be order takers, you know, because we were the 4 on the screen when no one else participated, you know. And the thing is, one day you'll have hundreds of people on here. And it's just, you know, that's really the thing is, you know, being early and isn't always the thing, you know. You know, people mock those that come before them with different ideas. And, you know, luckily we're strong enough to not let that affect our thinking. And we're not struck by those limited beliefs and things like that. Even though I already went through that process. That's why I have so much patience for these people, because I was one.
Right.
And I
Well,
know
and I just
was too.
Well, and I just welcome people to, you know, our wonderful phrase, change your water, change your life, to focus on that second part, change your life. When people take the time to really assess what we have here, it's so individual how their life might be changed, you know?
Yep. I sure want to be the mother of 2 pressing the button on Amazon this morning, paying $100 for $6 worth of Purell. I'll tell you that.
Oh, with toxins in it. Yeah.
So JJ, thanks for having me. I know it was a short one. Travel safe. Sorry about your dilemmas at the airport, and you know, just get home safe, brother.
yeah, no worries, brother. It'll all work out. Everything's going to work out just great. And, you know, we're up to the task, you guys. We are the Kong family. And, you know, like I tell everybody that has the wisdom and the foresight and the you know, the clarity to get themselves a Kangen water machine is part of the Kong family. We are this incredible family of people. And every day I'm totally amazed at how much this family of people has helped shape and change my life in the last 3 years. And I'm just so grateful for it. And, you know, like I always love to say at the end of every show, you know, that we're the Kong family and we're here to change the world. And I want to also start adding another caveat, and that is that, you know, that we're praying that these words are going to get to people, that
Yes.
God's going to help us reach people, help us. I got golf course people running around here making lots of noise, and sorry for that, you guys, but that's
No worries.
what happens when you're outdoors here in Hawaii on the golf course. But, you know, I'm just praying that God will help us to reach people, to send the right message, to get the word out there, that it'll resonate with people in their minds, in their hearts, and their souls. And, you know,
we are a vessel for the greater good. That's how I see it. And sharing is caring.
One more time.
We are a vessel for the greater good, and sharing is caring.
That's
right. Amen. Yes, and like I said, we are the Kong family. We're here to change the world. And Sean, how is it that we're doing that again?
Well, funny you should ask. One glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, 9.5.
Beautiful.
Amen,
Out of
brother.
my lovely European bottle.
And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredibly informative,
Love it.
and you know, fun show at a time. One amazing guest, one incredible family, one amazing person at a time. You guys, let's get out there. Let's change the world. Start with our own. And as usual, kids, Do not forget your hugs, kid.
Hugs. I love it. Lots of hugs.
Love you guys. Look
All
forward
right,
to the
love
next
you.
episode. We'll see you from Salt Lake on Wednesday afternoon, evening.
All right. Ciao for now.
Rock and roll, hoochie coo. Kangen water, light my fuse. Giddy up.
Love you guys. Have a great one.
Word. Love you too, big fella. Get back.